Hello, welcome. This is a self-love reading with Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. So I hope that this finds you well. The purpose of this reading is to kind of connect with ways or methods or see what is underlying maybe some of the self-love deficits that's in your life. And when I say self-love, it's more complicated than maybe what people normally think. So ways that we love ourselves are like just waking up each day and trying. So sometimes we think that we don't love ourselves, but we're just not receiving love from ourselves. And in fact, we're doing many things to show that we love ourselves. So this is kind of to bring awareness to that theme in your life, or maybe where you're feeling depleted and how you can help to boost and bolster that. I will be running a movement and meditation called Ace of Cups on the 12th of February. So the information will be in the description box below. And it will be a class dedicated to filling up that cup and giving you that feeling of wholeness in yourself. So check that out. And without further ado, select your pile from the, you can choose by stone. I don't know the name of the stones, but I can show them to you. So pile number 1. This is Amazonite, I know. I believe this is Lepidolite, and this is where my knowledge ends. So I do actually look them up, and then I promptly forget. So maybe this is I don't know. It's fine. Blue, purple, some sort of pale turquoise color. Anyway, choose your pile, and we'll meet you at your reading. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So let's see what we can find out about your self-love situation. So I'm going to start with the tarot cards on the bottom here. So we have number 1, Magic, Merlin and Vivian. Merlin is obviously the chief bard from the Welsh tradition, or the Arthurian legends. Vivian is the Lady of the Lake. And so really what we have here is the Magician and the High Priestess in one card. So it's finding your personal power through your intuition, stepping into that personal power. And I really see this, because this is a reading about self-love. I see this as being that integrated wholeness within yourself, that personal power. But there's a lot of strong magic here. And then you have the 6 of Arrows. All right, so this is about walking away from conflicted energies, or moving away from conflicted energies. It's interesting because I always think of the 6 of Wands, or 6 of Arrows, sorry, as a card, like the boat to Avalon. And then with Vivian here, it like really rounds it out for me. So if you are familiar with the mythology of Avalon, maybe that will have some significance to you. But it's this a departure away from almost the normal, or the ordinary, or embracing your weird, embracing your magic, whatever that may be. You will be taking conflicts with you. So whatever you walk away from, you're reminded that those things do travel with you. They do come with you. But see, she's almost using this to steer the ship. So something from your past, something that you are taking with you that you may need to release later, is what's going to help steer you. Yeah, I'm hearing the words apprenticeship. I feel like you're at your best when you're learning is one of the messages. So let's see. House and child. Okay, so these represent things that you're holding on to that are burdening you, or that are blockages or difficulties when it comes to your self-love, receiving love from yourself. And what I'm really getting from this is that there are material realities that are really making you feel like maybe you don't feel like you're not earning enough money, kind of a lack mentality. Maybe you feel like you're not where you should be in your career. There's a lot of shoulds here, especially to do with physical reality. And a discomfort with home. So maybe you've moved a lot, or maybe you want to buy a house and you're just not there yet, or able to do that financially. There's something here to do with a discomfort with your material reality. And this is, so it's almost like when you don't have enough money, you immediately attack yourself. Or when you, there's something in your home. It's like a closet you never clean out. There's some sort of stuck energy in your home, I'm getting, but it's also to do with money, material security. So you've got all of this, like, and this is power of manifestation. And I think with this power, having Merlin and Vivian here, magic, I think that you're a very magical person. And I think that it is really difficult to understand why you're not able to manifest things. And this can sometimes lead to looking outside of yourself and comparing yourself and looking at others and thinking, how come they've manifested this work situation or this money situation or this home situation? What am I doing wrong? And it's in the question is the answer, because there's stuck energy here. There's something that's stuck that needs to get moving. And I think this moving away is going to help ultimately. Now, the other card we have here is the child. And for this, I'm really getting that there's a lack of genuine nurturing and care. So you are not being cared for or nurtured by others, and there's like a deficit there. So maybe you never learned how to have that. Maybe you didn't have like an affectionate parent or someone who nurtured without condition. And so there's this feeling of like lack of security is the theme, materially and emotionally. There's a lack of security here. And this is not like, what caused this is not your fault. It's no one's fault. Well, like, you can, look at your parents, look at your situation for sure, but it's important not to get stuck there. It's important not to get stuck in this child self and the blaming and all of that. There's a time to see that, to evaluate that, to acknowledge that, and then there's a time to move away. Okay, I just realized that I took pile number 2. Interesting. Okay. I am going to, I will label this pile number 2. Interesting. Okay. I wonder what messages there are for you in pile number 1. So let's take a look at stork, clover, and child. Wow, we cannot ignore here. So if you are a parent, there is a way in which you love your child or the children in your life that will indicate how to give love to yourself. So, one way to frame it is that you think about what you give to children or how you nurture children. And then when you are in a situation where you need care and compassion, you treat yourself like you would a child. I'm also feeling like motherhood. So if you haven't had children, motherhood or fatherhood is a key to opening up that self-love, because you start to, through parenting, understand that you have to love yourself in order to fill their cup. But this could be why your cup is depleted. So it's both why it's full and why it's depleted. So if you are constantly caring for children and you do not have a partner or people in your life or activities or whatever to refill your cup, then you are constantly getting depleted. The beautiful thing here is that you've clover, you have luck, you have this fresh, nurturing energy that is there. It is accessible to you, and it's really, really powerful. But as powerful as it is, that's how powerful it is when it's blocked, if that makes sense. Like, bringing in more play, more laughter, see, okay, so for some of you, I can really feel that like there isn't anyone to delegate responsibility to. So for sometimes for people, it's like they can, they can get more help than they have, but they choose not to. I don't feel like that's the case for you. I feel like there aren't many others who can help you. This is sort of the source of your power, is that you've been the one to provide this for yourself. And you've been taking care of yourself for a long, long time. So even just the reminder of that, look how far you've come, look what you've done. Let's take a look at the oracle cards. You have Snake, Kundalini rising, channel your creative passion and sensuality, welcome the transformation. This self-love, once you get this down, once you figure out how to receive love from yourself, and I'm going to put it that way because I think that, with survival energy, or with, I think that we always prove to ourselves that we love ourselves. We just don't necessarily accept that love. And so I would say that this situation, when you learn how to fill your cup, that is your ultimate transformation. Your life will be completely different. That's when you start tapping into this magic and seeing it rise up in abundance. It may be that you're looking for this stability as well because you want to have children. And so you feel like this is a block to this, but because you're fixated on this block, it's blocking it even more. It's like it keeps trapping itself. And you have antelope. Yeah, new pathways. Consider whether you are happy on your current path. And that's that moving away, right? So if you are feeling like your current path is not for you anymore, if you're just done, this is a sign that tracks. Are you happy? With the Kundalini rising, again, this is so much power surging up. Like the new pathways that are coming are full of abundance. There's this really beautiful new birth, this new self that you are birthing. Wow, this is really, really cool and really incredible. I'm very happy for you. Pile number 2, not pile number 1. I'm going to get some oracle cards for you. See what other messages we have. So I see that this new path brings generosity. There's a level of like an ability to discern for yourself. So maybe if you've been in situations like maybe you're going to be self-employed or calling the shots, opportunity. There's no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. I'm putting that with the clover. Interesting. There's no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. So, you know, if you've been sitting here going, okay, yeah, I know this, which is, it tracks with the Kundalini and the magic. You have like almost a shamanic, like a really deep, powerful energy. So if you're like, yeah, I know this, you're reminded here of divine timing as well. So maybe you've been, you know, a little bit impatient with this process unfolding. Radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. Absolutely. I've been feeling the sun through this whole thing. There's this bright energy. And I feel like it's behind, it's almost just like behind a door, and that door is going to open, and it's through this journey into self-love, into self-worth, into believing in yourself that you come to let that light out. It's almost like, you know, when something is powerful, it can be really scary to let that out. Maybe you let it out when you were a kid and it kind of came out in a way that people couldn't accept, and this is going to free you this time instead of trap you. Frieza. This will all be worthwhile. Oh my gosh. Yes, this will all be worthwhile. It's been a slog. You don't get Kundalini rising if it hasn't been a slog. Channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. So there could be a bit of sex magic in this pile. And that is a powerful tool for manifestation. If you don't know anything about it, maybe look into it. There isn't a lot of good information out there. I hope to one day write something about it, but yeah, so essentially it's, you know, using the moment of orgasm to manifest, and the, you know, that's like when children are made as well, right? So there's definitely fertility in the future, and a really powerful parental situation for some of you. The future is sometimes lost in the wanderings of yesterday, and that's getting stuck in the past. So I think that's what kind of like keeps you back, is this return to the past and kind of applying that to the future, or, you know, the lack always sort of reaches into the past, I feel. So that's what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for joining, and take care. Hello, pile number 1. So if you're confused, if you selected the other pile and I said pile number 1, and then I got to the point where I realized you're pile number 2, I apologize for that mix-up. So I am going to timestamp this for pile number 1. But there could be messages in both piles for you. So let's take a look at your tarot cards first and see what we have. So your first card is 0, Innocence. Tamino and Pamina. I don't know that story. So if you do know that story, leave me a comment. So this is a new beginning. This is a new and fresh start. This is a return. I feel like this is a return to innocence. But a return to the interested aspects of yourself. So when you were a child, perhaps you played music, perhaps you had certain hobbies or interests that you've long since forgotten, and I'm really getting that there's a return to that. And then we have the King of Staves, Woden. Wow, so some poets here in this pile for sure. And if you did select pile number 2, which is, or if you went to pile number 2, which is pile number 1, that tracks with Merlin as well, as he's the chief bard. So there's also this this sense of like being almost prophetic as a child, like understanding intuitively the functions or the rhythm of the universe, and maybe you jumped out of that in favor of your head. I don't know, that's not indicated here, but this is just a reminder of your prophetic, poetic, melodic abilities. There's a great deal of passion and the ability to take that passion and channel it and create something new. These feelings that you feel, okay, so the difficulty here with this kind of energy, and the Wotan is the, I guess, British Germanic version of Odin. It's one of the names for Odin. And Odin is a god of prophecy. But to work with Odin, you devote yourself. So if you're given the gift of prophecy, one day you will go mad. And so there's this balance that's needed, because the opposite of prophecy essentially is madness, right? So I'm feeling like you walk a line, a very delicate line, and you can feel that and sense that. But the things that you create, so this is the other part of this, is creation and destruction, is what I wanted to really highlight because of the fire energy. So the destruction, the destructive qualities of fire create new fertile ground. And that's where this 0 comes in, that it's like you pull from the void, you pull from the infinite. It's definitely, the artist, the prophet, the magician, creating something out of nothing. But I feel like you generate, like things go in and you generate new things out of the things that have gone in. So instead of replicating, you make something else. You don't, the most simple example, I guess, would be like cooking. Like you don't use a recipe, you know the principles of cooking. And so you create new things in that way. You use flavors that people wouldn't think to use unless a recipe told them to, that kind of thing. So there's definitely like a rebel spirit as well. So let's see what's blocking you from self-love. Young woman and thought. Okay, so it is thought. What I'm getting here is impulsivity and overthinking. So there's this, like an old man and a young woman, there's this like, spurts of inspiration, spurts of productivity, and then it gets shut down by thinking. I'm going to use an example from my own life that may be helpful. So when I am in the forest, I was not someone who was physically fit as a child. I never ran. And now as an adult, I'm fit and I will be in the forest and I'll start running. And I run and I'm like, whoa, this is wild. This is free. This is so great. This is young woman energy. Okay. So momentum forward, full of love, full of feeling. And then I have this moment where I'm like, wait a minute, you can't run. And it shuts down. I start thinking about running and then I can't run anymore. And I'm getting that that's what's happening to you here. It's like you can play music until you start thinking, I'm playing music. You can create, you can paint until you start thinking, I'm painting. Part of that could be that you try and monetize what you're doing. So that can sometimes shut down creativity. But I'm really getting that it's more about getting in your head. And so what does this have to do with self-love? This is like such a key component to your aspect, to your being, that when you are not creating, you're destroying, you're destructing. So if you're not creating, you take that energy and you put it into your life, and you destroy relationships, you destroy job opportunities, you destroy a whole bunch of other things, rather than, sending that energy into something creative. So let's take a look at the Lenormand cards. A good omen. This ship will always be for you a happy journey, and each or bequest come true. Okay, so there's a key component to your work and to this creativity are your emotions and your ability to navigate your emotions and your ability to share that navigation with others. So when you share, let's say you write a poem about sadness and it helps someone else to navigate their own sadness. There's definitely like a communal aspect to this. There is an aspect to it of sharing. I'm not saying that you have to monetize, but I am saying that, whatever you are meant to create, it is not meant to be kept to you. Other people need to experience this. So there's some part of that. And again, here, yeah. When the cheerful sun smiles at you with all its good intent, your life will never resemble a night so dark and reticent. Okay, so this is really interesting. There's this, and it's funny because in that first pile that I read, pile number 2, I read first, and I said that the sun was missing, and here it is. So this is again this bright energy, this Leo again. So this bright energy illuminates things to share, right? But then sometimes it will bring up things unresolved. So it's almost like you get triggered by your own work. Just something to keep in mind. The sun coming out, so it's not only is it refreshing and bright and amazing, but it also exposes what's been in the dark corners. So what's been hiding. And I think you have to address those things in order to create this work and to express this part of yourself. And then letter, yeah. So this could be that you're a writer. I think I said poet before, like a writer or poet. This would definitely be confirmation of that. This letter certainly promises a generous stroke of luck, provided it is not destroyed when a cloud to it is closely stuck. This is about these unresolved shadows. This is about things that you have not been able to or are not acknowledging in your work. It's almost like leave no shadow unturned. Allow yourself to create through all of them. Whatever you are creating is an act of self-love, because it is helping you to process. That's sort of the magic here. It's helping you to process. And the more you do not do that, the more this destructive, like the cloud, so that's depression, the night so dark, again, depression. So if you suffer from depression, part of it could be that you're not embracing this generative ability that you have. Okay. And we have owl, sight, detach your emotions from situations that you cannot control. Interesting. So the owl can see at night. And this really, for me, feels similar to the sun in that the shadows are illuminated. So you can see things that others can't in these feelings and emotions, and that's why you are meant to share them and to illuminate them through art. So whatever that is, whatever, I'm not feeling like anyone that chose this pile isn't an artist of some kind. Like if you're like, I don't do any creative work, I don't know how this applies to your life, because I'm really just not getting that for you. I'm getting that this is definitely, you are someone who creates something. You are a creative person. And frog, stepping into your power. Don't take a back seat in your story. It's time to step up. Yes. You are being called out to the front lines of your own life and to navigate. And that could be part of it, that like, and we have the ocean here. I just noticed that. We have the ocean with like fire behind it. So, the passion and the emotion coming together and creating and generating, like use your powerful emotions, use your powerful insights here from Odin to navigate these dark places and to illuminate things for others. I'm going to get you some cards, some further oracle cards, but I think this reading is just coming together so beautifully. The message is so clear. Generosity, sow seeds of kindness. And we have listen. Be alert. The soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies. Soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies. This is for those of you who are musicians, for sure. And patience. Wait for the fruit to ripen. Okay, so there's a whole other layer to this. This is about not only sowing seeds of kindness, as the message suggests, but this is about sharing with others. Patience speaks to this impulsive energy, so finding a middle ground between these two energies, the thought and the young woman energies, where we were talking about how it's really impulsive, and with the sun here, allowing things to percolate, allowing things to grow. Be alert, the soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies. This is a message for someone specifically. It's not something I can interpret, honestly. So if you know and you want to share, leave it in the comments below. We have Dahlia. You have what it takes. Absolutely. So if you were questioning that, let this empower you. I'm going to put this reading in the artist playlist because I'm really getting that feeling here. Peony, prosperity can be assured if you care well for tomorrow. And care well for tomorrow is really this creativity, this work, this self-expression. You know, there could be issues of self-worth here, so balancing the solar plexus and sacral chakras. But flow, allow things to flow, allow things to move through you. Instead of thinking, I am writing this piece, think of it as this piece is writing itself through me, if that's helpful. So I think I'm going to leave you there, pile number 1. Thank you so much for joining. Leave a comment, subscribe, like the video, will help me out, and take care. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at your cards and see what they have to say. These readings have been really good so far, so I'm excited to see what we have for you. All right, Queen of Arrows. Venus. Okay. Let's see what the other card is. It's getting caught in my throat, so there could be an issue with self-expression. 3 of Arrows. Of expressing your disappointments and heartaches. I'm getting that you could be a person who maybe gets jealous, not that you want to, but you kind of get jealous of other people, or you may not be very good at sharing friends or people with other people, that maybe you have I'm getting a Libra energy here as well, like, because you're always trying to balance. If you add a third thing, it's overwhelming because you're so busy balancing 2 things that a third feels like too much. So this could be something that you know about yourself and you're hard on yourself about it. There's also this, it's like feeling like you have a lot of love, but it's trapped in your thoughts. It's trapped in your head. Like you struggle to open your heart to others, and therefore you struggle to open your heart to yourself. Let's take a look at what's blocking you from self-love or from receiving love from yourself. Misfortune. I'm hearing you count your misfortunes at night before you go to sleep or in your dreams, so that it's like you get caught in this perpetual cycle of talking to yourself about the things that you've done wrong, or the ways that, your life hasn't worked out, or the moves you could have, should have, that sort of thing. And the things in the past that you cannot change or cannot control, these things get caught up, and you're reminded that things break apart, things die, things fail, because they must, so that new things can come in. But there is definitely like getting caught in heartbreak. There could have been a big heartbreak in your life that you've never really gotten over. Like it changed you so much that you're still almost stuck there because you keep replaying it. But you're not there anymore. You aren't that person. You're not in that space and room. Yeah, it's like being trapped in moments. So there is an energy, and this is going to be a spectrum, but there is an energy of trauma here. So I want to be really gentle and careful with how I deliver this, because I think that sometimes self-love rhetoric can be really damaging to people who have trauma. You can't just get over it. It was, maybe it's not a big deal to other people, but it was a big deal to you. And I'm here to validate that for you. It was a big deal. And so you keep returning to this moment or to this time where things hurt and things fell apart, and you went into your head to protect your heart, and that tracks. Like, that's how we survive. That's how we protect ourselves. So what's going to make it safe for you to open your heart again? And this says, it's number 23. The mice come to tell you a story of theft. If they enter your home, you'll have nothing left. Trust. Trust is a big one. And part of trust is knowing that you are allowing people in your life that are not going to hurt you, that are not the same as the people that came before. Part of that can be, so if it is trauma and it stems back to, let's say, childhood or your younger years, if you are continuously bringing, your father, your bully, whoever it was, into your life romantically or in friendships, if you know that you have broken a pattern and you are now in relationships with people that are maybe more like you, maybe people who have had these experiences too, or who are genuine and loving and kind, you can start to build up that trust. Because whatever was taken from you, it was a lot and it was hard, and it's really hard to forgive yourself for allowing that to happen. I'm gonna put that in air quotes, allowing that to happen. But we all make mistakes. We all get fooled. We all, are susceptible to those things. And it's okay to forgive yourself for that. Yeah, your own star guides you as a good sign when it is shining bright. But sorrow comes if clouds drift near to hide it from your sight. So this is telling me that there are times that you are depressed, and that's really what the clouds are, or this fog comes in, and then you're not able to see the brightness, you're not able to see the stars, and the only light you can see and that you gravitate to is this burning, like when the house burnt down, when the situation burnt down. And so it's almost like that, because that's the only light you see, that's the light you gravitate toward, because you're looking for light in the dark. But if you can try to remember that you have other light, you have this like beautiful love. You wouldn't have been so hurt if you didn't have a beautiful, loving heart underneath, right? And the scythe warns you are by danger affected. In a happy environment from harm, you're protected. Okay, yeah. And again, this is a feeling of safety. So I'm really feeling like key things in your life are safety and trust. Making sure that the people around you, there's nothing wrong with making sure that the people around you are safe and to be trusted. But there is an aspect of this where your head is not going to guide you as well as your heart. Because in our heads, we can look at people and we can justify their actions, and we can take their words over their actions. The heart, the body really feels those impressions. So tuning into your body is also where trauma is stored. So working through those things with yoga, with movement, with meditation, to try to work out the physiological effects of this, because I'm really feeling like you hold a lot in your shoulders and across your chest, like it's really tight in the chest. Okay, so we have penguin, diamond, light activation. Light activations and new energies are coming your way. Be open to receive and welcome them. Oh, wonderful. So new light is coming in. this star energy, this brighter light to replace this this burning destructive energy. And Horse, free spirit, give yourself the space and freedom to express your creativity. This for me really feels like opening a window, closing your eyes, enjoying the breeze, finding moments. And I really see you alone here. I see you alone in spaces where you're able to breathe fresh air, where you're sort of getting this like new energy coming in. So open the window, let out the bad, and allow the good to come in. The light activations here are indicating that you do have this like healing around you. You do have this beautiful energy around you. Venus is the goddess of love. So this could come through any kind of loving relationship, but start to notice, you know, maybe there are people that when you start to open your heart to them, they respond really well to it. They don't use it against you. They don't use it to like manipulate you or, you know, slowly and slowly and slowly starting to see that it is okay to open yourself up again. Because you have this beautiful loving energy. And I'm sorry that someone took advantage of that. Let's get some more oracle cards for you. So I'm sending you lots of love. I hope that you feel held in this space. You can always work with, I mean, be careful, but you can always work with healers to, and if you're not sure what to ask for, maybe say just, you know, to work on my heart and do it gently. If anyone says you should do this or says anything with like a really harsh tone about you should do this or you should do that, or that they know exactly what to do, like trauma is very complex, and no one can say I know trauma, because even, you know, like trauma psychiatrist or psychologists will tell you like it is very complex, and it is you know, it's a winding road to healing. So it says, play. Among the grass and wild violets lie undisturbed little secrets to uncover. Yeah, and this is really that like feeling of you being alone and like the free spirit, just like allowing yourself to be. So going somewhere out in nature where you can be alone, or taking those moments in your home to really like dance to music, to move freely, to breathe the air, to, you know, like I'm really getting like loose fabrics and just feeling so free. And strength. Yeah. Don't let the weeds and thistles cultivate in your garden. So you have more strength than you know. And you know how only you know your situation. But I really feel like it's important with this trust to trust yourself, to trust that, you know, when you are in your heart space, you will be able to feel the people that are not right for you, or not give them the opportunity or the space to harm you. And if they do, to not blame yourself for it. Peony. Prosperity can be assured if you care well for tomorrow. And this is really about staying present and in the future. I feel like, you know, one of the things with trauma is that we tend to linger in the past a lot. So finding things that you look forward to, maybe it's planning a trip or having, you know, this sort of like freedom ritual, whatever it is for you, a freedom ritual that you can look forward to that feels cleansing. Maybe it's that you go skinny dipping somewhere, or yeah, just something that feels really fresh and really free. And Jasmine, success will be found if you hold on to hope. And that's indicated here with the star, that there's this I have hope for you. I hope that you have hope for yourself. Please hold on to that hope that things will be better, things will be brighter. Not everyone is, I mean, for some of us, we end up finding the same kind of people over and over again that hurt us in the same ways, but there are different people, and there are people that want to love us and care for us, and we have to trust that that's true and like welcome that in. So that's what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope this was helpful. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you soon. Pile number 4, welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at your cards. These readings have been so good so far, so I'm excited to see what we have for you today. We have the card of Sacrifice, Orpheus and Eurydice. This is this is a double-edged sword. This is a double-edged sword in your life. So what leads to self-love for you is also the thing that keeps it from you, or what leads you to being able to receive love from yourself is simultaneously the thing that keeps love from yourself. So I'm really interested to see what that means. And we have 4 of Cups. Denying that you are an emotional being is what I'm hearing. There's these spaces between your feelings, yourself, your self-love is, it's like lost when you're bored. You hold on to things. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. So it's like you get stuck in this love is sacrifice to you almost. It's like love is self-sacrifice to you. And so this is why you get depleted, is because you're continuously giving to others, and it's because you don't feel fulfilled when you're alone. So when you're alone, you feel bored, you feel yeah, it's like you call other people in to love you. You call other people in to fulfill you, but it doesn't fulfill you when you're alone. So then you're depending on other people for that. So let's take a look at what's blocking you from self-love. Sweetheart. Yeah, again, it's this idea that love has to come from outside of yourself. And Priest. Believing that, okay, so this is definitely a focus on external relationships and traditional relationships. Maybe the idea that, some people have the idea that like their partner, their romantic partner should be everything, friend, lover, business partner, everything. And without taking into account that you can get other things from other people, that you can have, sort of a wide variety. But I really feel like you have in the past used others, not used in a bad way, and I'm not trying to be hard on you. This is just, I'm just this is the situation that will move forward into like kind of what you can do about this and help and stuff like that. So essentially, you know, words of affirmation and these gestures of love have really kept you afloat. So this could be in many different ways. This could be your image, you know, relying on people liking your posts. We all do this, like needing that kind of like external validation to tell you that you're worth it. And this is, you know, so for you, your journey into receiving love from yourself has to do with actually being the one that delivers that love to yourself and having it come from the inside out. And I know that this is going to sound really cliche, but that's what I'm getting. So what else? How can you start to cultivate this love for yourself? Okay, so self-protection is one of the main things here. So you may look for protection from others, but self-protection is going to be key for you. I'm also seeing doing loving acts of kindness for yourself or acknowledging. So maybe you already do these things, and we all do actually. Acknowledging like when you are doing that thing for yourself, and that can be paying a bill. Literally, it's like everything that we do for ourselves is an act of love. So, you know, acknowledging I'm paying this bill so that I have like a roof over my head. I'm paying this bill so that I can eat nourishing foods. So I can nourish my body. Like, acknowledging all of the things that you do for yourself, how you show up for yourself. So this is about reframing the way that you think, transforming the way that you think, allowing the self because when you rely on external validation, you've probably traveled sort of far from yourself. Not always, but there could be some aspect of yourself that is maybe not truly as you are, truly aligned with yourself. And so there's a transformation that's needed in order to get to that place. So you come into alignment with yourself and then start loving that self. And that could mean that certain people fall away. That could mean, you know, again, with the protecting yourself, I'm really getting this, like, it's like hermit. There's a period of isolation and being alone and acknowledging when you're reaching out and even calling it for what it is. So if you like are looking for attention, say, I need attention. And when you start calling it out that way, when you say to your, you know, your friend, like, I need attention, I need to be told I'm pretty, like whatever, when you start calling it out loud, it can start to transform the way that you are generally, because when you hear it out loud, you're like, oh, you know, maybe it changes your relationship to that, like if there's a desperation to it or whatever else. This is also really strongly indicating that it's like a domino effect. So when you start to do this, and maybe you've already started to do this, to go inward and to kind of transform the way that you see. It's like transforming the way that you see the outside world and your partners and who you are as a partner. If you start partnering yourself in that way, like the things that you do for them, or if you start to look at, you know, what holes they were filling for you and how you can fill that yourself. And this is by no means, I believe in interdependence. So, you know, you can absolutely be independent and still say, I need help. Like, I think there's some confusion there that independence means you don't get help from anybody or you don't create those spaces. And so there could be a bit of that, like, extreme from one side to the other, but that's always how it works. Like you go extreme to one side and extreme to the other, and then you find a center. You find the happy medium. So let's take a look at your cards. Otter, initiations, be open through this transitional time. Yeah, I mean, with the coffin here and with the bear also is 10 of wands or 10 of clubs. There's definitely this energy of like, this is a new beginning for you. Like something has died and you're restarting. So I'm getting that this is really a big theme actually in your life right now. And with this new start, you get to really pay attention to these aspects of yourself. And kangaroo, courage. You are being tested. Have faith and stand in your truth. Wow, you're being tested, which is really interesting when it comes to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. If you know this story, she's taken into the underworld and Orpheus goes and he plays his lyre. I never know how to say it, tomato, tomato, right? And so what happens is the underworld is just so in awe of his playing that they say he can take his wife back. But the stipulation is that if he looks back, so he's holding her hand, taking her up to the surface. If he looks back, then he'll never see her again. And he turns and he looks back. So he loses her. He was able to get her back on his own merit, on his like otherworldly ability to play music and to entice and persuade others, but he did not trust. He did not, he wavered in his belief. And so when this test, like that was a test for Orpheus and he didn't pass and there were permanent consequences for that. But I think really for you, it's more like you're tested to stand in yourself, to bring all of this into yourself. Let's get some more oracle cards and see what other messages we have for you. These readings have been incredible. So if you missed my introduction, I am running an Ace of Cups movement and meditation. So it'll be a stretching practice with some guided meditations or guided journeys, energy activation kind of practice on February 12th. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Twilight, surrender to the last hour when the light barely touches the flower. Surrender, again, this is surrendering to this death process. Surrender to the death of who you were before and start to regrow, reblossom as this person who is validating themselves. When the light barely touches the flowers. So when people aren't looking, who are you? You know? Serenity, and this is finding yourself alone. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. And that's, loving and finding that place in yourself. And even when you're alone, like, are you reaching out on social media? Are you, finding ways to still seek validation outside of yourself? Or are you validating yourself? Are you loving yourself in that time? So that movement class that I was talking about, all that information is going to be in the description box below. I didn't get to finish saying that. And we're going to take a look at, we'll get two more, I think, oracle cards. So this looks really beautiful and really promising for you. There's some fresh energy coming through. Definitely, reflective of the spring. Ooh, love this for you. Be ready, the best is on its way. So in you know, it's like one of the perks, I guess, or one of the bonuses of doing this work on yourself, or you know, being self-aware, is that you can start to call in better things, or things that are more aligned for you. And Gerbera, show appreciation and joy shall follow. So this is like, appreciate yourself, all the ways that you've shown up for yourself. I really feel like that is a thing for you, is like acknowledging all of the things about yourself that are like believing in yourself. Stand in your own truth. Yeah. So I think that's all I have for you, pile number 4. Thank you so much for joining. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.